Sly,
Yeah.
you've got it right this week, right? There's no chance of technical difficulties, is there?
Like I'm going to fuck up 2 weeks in a row.
I certainly hope not, because people were complaining last week. We had 3 epileptics who didn't make it through the episode.
Trust me, it's fine. Nothing will go wrong.
Are you sure?
I am 100% sure.
Alright, let's do this.
Welcome to the Collingwood Rant. I'm Sly.
And I'm Ned Long.
You wish.
No one's that good, really, are they? Do
No one.
you think he'll come up in conversation today?
I think he could. Okay, so beat the might of the Sydney Swans.
Wasn't that an emphatic win?
Well, McRae actually doesn't have too good a record against them, so I didn't realise how bad it was. I've only beaten them the once under McRae.
Do you know what happened the last time we lost to them?
No, what happened?
I had the finger over the button again the other night.
That's right. Mate, I do remember. And it looked really good going into this week where we lost Jordan DeGoey and Lockie Schultz. Injuries at training.
And Houston...
Houston's a suspension.
Suspended. No, it was a good way to come into this game. Because we can't do things the easy way at Collingwood.
You know, I've been critical of Lockie
Have you? When?
Schultz. Yeah, I've been critical of Lockie Schultz fitting into Collingwood, but I've never felt he fit into Collingwood more until he did a hamstring at training.
And that was just tying up his shoelaces.
Yep, Dan Houston out. So 3 major players. They got their own injuries, but that's 3. I mean, 2 major players and Schultz, who's been really good the last 3 weeks.
He is.
He is. So what was the expectation going into this game?
I said in the rant last week that I'm not sure where we're at, and this will be the game that will give you a little bit more indication. Then we found out that we lost 3 of the keys, more or less, players. I went into this a little bit uncertain that we'd win.
Okay.
With that. But then you're looking at their outs, that sort of balanced things out a little bit. I went back and looked at who they'd beaten. I mean, they smashed North the week before, but I think North got thumped again. Did they get thumped or did they? Or they lost.
They lost pretty convincingly.
Yeah, so you sort of think, oh, maybe they weren't that good. They were just good against an average side. These are the things that were going through my head.
They beat Frampton. That was their one good win.
Yeah.
It was a close game. They lost the Hawthorn. They lost another one to another credible side. I can't remember if it's Bull. Who cares? It's Sydney.
It was Brisbane they lost to.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yep. So, I'm glad one of us did research.
So, I'm looking and thinking, the more I was thinking about it, I think we can cover those 3. It's not ideal that they were out, but they're probably coverable. And boy, did we fucking cover them.
Well, it's interesting. If you look at, like, alright, so Schultz has played well for 3 weeks.
Just 3 weeks?
Pretty much only 3 weeks.
When are you apologising?
Fucking yeah, right. But that's serious. Like, he's only really played really well for 3 weeks, and I reckon that's 2.5 weeks. So, yeah, I'd rather have him in that form, but losing him wasn't like losing someone who was a staple of the side for 4 years or something.
No.
Then you had DeGoey, who's done a few little things here and there, but he really has struggled the last 18 months. I mean, would you call him paper mache man?
Is he going to last more than a couple of games without something breaking off?
Yeah, and you lost Houston, who's still fitting into that defence.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with their performances, and that was the way I rationalised it as well, is that Schultz had a couple of good weeks, but,
You can apologise?
not right now. Houston, I think, I said that it's not unusual for players to come into a new system and it takes them a little while to adapt. So you think, he hasn't really been setting the world on fire.
Yeah, they won a great game against Port. Everyone had a great game against Port.
Everyone had a great game against Port. So you thought, well, that's coverable. Schultz will be coverable. And who was the third one? Was that DeGoey? He was just getting back into the swing of things. And again, really not particularly damaging. Kicked a couple of great goals the week before. But again, like anyone can bob up and kick a couple of great goals. So they're probably positions that we could adequately cover.
There's a couple players, just to be fair. I mean, DeGoey and Chris with the other one. When it comes for clutch goals, like, set shots, those two are really, really good. I was talking about, like, Chris had that great shot. He did it in the grand final, 50 out, second quarter, on an angle.
Crisp.
Yeah, crisp. And nailed it. And in the prelim, he did pretty much the same spot. And then DeGoey obviously kicked the 2 major ones. So just, anyway, when it comes to clutch goals, they generally nail them. So I think that was one thing. DeGoey, in terms of, like, quantity, he hasn't been that player, but in terms of popping up and kicking a vital goal here and there, he can do it. And obviously, as you saw last week against Carlton, when he had the ball and he went for that run, about 4 of them swamped him. So he draws that attention. So that's one thing that he has. But in terms of, what we lost, then you had Ben Allen. That's what
Ed Allen.
Ed Allen, not Ben. That was his dad. Ed Allen come in.
As a sub.
Yep, Hoskin Elliott and Lachie Sullivan. What did you think about Allen being the sub?
Oh, look, I didn't think it was particularly surprising. I mean, even as the game was progressing, he's only going to come in with 5 minutes to go. Everything was just humming along too beautifully that you weren't going to be disruptive of anything. And even then, it was, in every sense of the word, it was not really a bit of a tactical sub. It was a rest and respite sub more than anything for Elliott, who came off.
Oh, just an obligatory sub, really.
Look, I didn't think he'd get... I thought, unless there's obviously injury aside, that he wouldn't be coming on until maybe the start of the last quarter. I'm still keen to see what he can do. He didn't get an opportunity to do much, but it was no surprise that he was.
Yeah, it's interesting because they go to Sullivan, like I said, just to plug and play. Whereas obviously they're not as trustworthy with Ed Allen yet in the system.
No,
I mean, not that
clearly.
he's getting a lot of exposure, but I mean, part of that dilemma, it's nice to have, is Ned Long.
Yeah, no, that was some performance.
Was there someone you knew who's been saying for 18 months we should get this guy on the list and play him?
I think it was me.
And so Long, he is the big-bodied mid that they really need. And
he's the player Cripps wishes he could be.
Oh, yeah. So that was the start of Ned's Brownlow run.
Has everyone loaded up on him because his odds have dropped a fair bit. I've
said it before. He's really good at attacking the ball. McRae said this after, so I only imagine he's watching the rant and just echoing me. Thanks, Craig.
He was looking at his phone when he was talking about it.
But I've said it previously. If he doesn't win the ball, he puts pressure on them and doesn't let them win the ball, or makes it hard for them to win the ball. He stands up in tackles. He doesn't get tackled to the ground. Someone said he has no penetration in his kicking, which I find a crock of shit. Because I actually think he's sort of low and flat. He's got a really ungainly kicking style. And he does some nice little things like that little tap he did when the ball came toward him, and I can't remember the Sydney player, but he just sort of tapped it to keep it moving. Obviously, he's still very early in his career, so he's got a lot of growth
still
to do.
22. You sort of look at him and he looks older than that.
Well, it's a body development. Physically, he's just a beast. Nevin McRae said he's a beast physically.
He showers with him.
Thanks for that. In the post-game interviews, because Chad Wingard was talking to him. Chad Wingard had played with him at Hawthorn. And they were talking about, Chad Wingard was saying something like, oh, no, he's really, really smart. Asking what he got in his ATARs.
Yeah, I heard that after the post-match interview. It was 96.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah. And I mean, the thing...
He's almost as smart as us.
Almost. Not quite. But it was actually...
What'd you get on your ATAR?
101.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm still finishing mine. You can't rush these things.
Yeah, they put an 01 and they just put a 1 in front of it.
Oh. One more chance.
In different coloured ink.
Sorry, I interrupted you 12 times then and did it again.
Yeah.
Please continue.
No, but I mean, obviously, high school intelligence doesn't correlate necessarily with football intelligence, but he does seem a pretty smart guy. No, that's super intelligence.
No. Or criminal intelligence.
Yeah, I hope I think they will persevere with him because he's got the one thing McRae really loves, which is the defensive pressure. But his emergence has really sort of pushed guys like Allen to the side. Allen seemed to be the anointed one last year, but Ned Long's emergence, and he seems to be consolidating a place in that midfield, has just sort of pushed Ed Allen to the outer, unfortunately for Ed Allen.
Yeah, plenty of time though. I mean, the other thing that I was thinking about the other day is that with Mitchell not probably looking likely to come back in at any time in the next 6 years, it sort of makes his position a little bit more redundant. Because it's only one game, but I think he's been building towards this game as well.
But you got to go back 2 weeks ago. He had a really good game again. So and then last week it wasn't that he didn't have a good game; it was he just played a sub and he came on late. So the week before, he had a really good game again. It was very similar. He had 15 contested possessions. He got his 20 plus possessions and all that sort of stuff. So the good thing, I mean, the guys we should really mention too. Yeah, Pendles and Sidebottom. So, Sidebottom, you would have thought he's sort of trending down to being good. He's been elite the last few weeks.
He's been fantastic.
He's the guy that I always wanted him to be under Buckley. And
you wanted him under Buckley?
Oh, did you hear about that rumour about why? No, anyway. But like those two are playing so well, it's actually giving, I think, Long the opportunity to come in and get the third or fourth opposition defender, a midfielder or whatever. And then obviously you got Nick in there.
Do you think Nick being tagged as heavily as he was helped Long's game?
Yeah. Nick's the sort of player that when he's near the ball, everyone's going to swamp to him. So it's going to open up opportunities for everyone else. But then again, Sidebottom's been that player too. Sidebottom's been superb the last few weeks. And him playing the way he is means that, again, now Nick's going to get a little bit less attention and Long's going to get a little bit less attention. So you're getting this multi-pronged midfield, which is good because wasn't too long ago that it felt like, oh, hang on, Pendles and Sidebottom are just about on the way out. The Goey's got injury concerns. Mitchell hasn't been able to play at all. And, it was Crisp and Nick Dacos, and Nick was pretty much having to play a sole hand, but you get these other guys stepping up, it really evens it out. And Cameron, I think Cameron was as that, I think he sort of Grundy beat him in terms of getting the taps. Again, they don't really go anywhere, but...
That's classic Grundy, though. What did he win the hit-outs? About 94 to 3?
50 to 28 or something,
having to advantage. It's probably something we've been pointing out for a number of years.
He also took an overhead mark.
Did he?
Yeah.
How did he do that?
I don't know. I think it just fell in his hands and But
it's good. I'm glad he got something out of it.
Let me throw you a hypothetical and
a hypothetical.
Yeah, let me piss off everyone who fucking asked me to apologise about Schultz. When Schultz has been there, the guys like McCreary, Hill, Elliott haven't been that good. He's not there suddenly, and all three of them are really good.
Is that coincidence?
I don't know. We're going to have some, more form to look at.
I must admit, I haven't given that any thought until you mentioned it. But they were good.
They were all really good.
But then I think the team was good though across the board. So maybe it's like that classic thing about when they're all when a handful are good, everyone's playing well. The team plays well. Is that a saying? I don't think it is.
You're just making things up.
No, but they were exceptionally good. Do you think he's getting in the way?
I don't know. Well, I don't know the way they structure and the way they, do
you think we should delist him?
Yeah. I'll get a first rounder first.
What? One bag?
Yeah.
Didn't we give up 3 for him?
Go for first and the second. No, I don't know. I mean, it's only one game, so you can't judge on one game. But I just found that interesting because I don't think Hills, even in that Port game, was that good. I don't think McCreary was that good in that Port game, but we won by 15 goals. I don't think Elliott was actually that good in that Port game. Membry kicked 4 here was good. But just I found that interesting, so I don't know in terms of what instructions they're given and all that sort of stuff. I really liked that McCreary took it upon himself to kick that 50 metre or 55 metre goal. I thought that was great. That's what I always want to see is like when it's your turn to go.
Yeah, that was his best game for a long while, McCreary.
Yeah.
And I think he took it because we gave him a bit of a bake last week, and I think he did leave a message that you're going to read out later on the comments to say, I apologise. I'll aim to do better this week. You did record that one, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I got it here. Hey, Spook and Sly, you call my facial hair stupid. Look at Spook.
Why would you?
I don't know. Well, he was the one who threw it out there. Another guy, unsung hero, fucking Billy Frampton.
How good is he?
Well, he was like 30 in that list of best defenders you sent me.
Yeah, that list of best defenders where he's 4th.
Yeah,
so Moore's number 1 and Billy's number 4. He's done some good jobs so far this year. I think we talked him up a little bit last week.
I wish I'd been saying this for 18 months to play him as the fullback, and I should coach. Thanks, just got my number, Fly. Just ask Ned for it.
But no, he's again. It's just given a lot more license to do what he does best and run. How's he going with his intercept marks this year? Did you look up that stat? You got it written down?
Yeah, 26.
26?
Yeah.
Out of a possible what?
13.
13. He's double his best efforts. That's 700% improvement.
Yeah. This is the best we've seen Moore play since probably late 2023. I think toward the end of 2023 he was struggling.
Is it because Schultz is out of the side?
Could be.
Do they hate Schultz that much?
I don't know, maybe it's Brendan Bolton.
Do you think that a lot of the time that Moot's beaten, he's already just looking downfield, shaking his fist at Schultz?
Yeah. It's probably like Hogan's Heroes.
That's never been done before, that joke, You're pioneering.
No.
You're a trailblazer, you know that?
Well, when I was watching the game a couple of weeks ago, I accidentally started calling him Schwartz. So... So all, similar. I'll start with S and CH.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Yep.
And you.
Yeah, but Moore's been great in terms of like just offering that rebound, runs forward. He's going for a few marks now, so when he gets a bit more confidence, you'd hope that he really just starts nailing a lot of those.
We nailed a Marty.
Well, I should have been holding the ball. While we're talking about free kicks, how good was that free kick against Mychick for taking the legs out?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, what do you do in that situation, though? Seriously. Every kid, all the way up through their teenage years and everything, is taught to go for the ball. So now you're supposed to make some fucking decision that says, if I go for that, if I pitch forward and try and stop that ball, stop my opponent from getting that ball, I certainly hope that nobody's running near me that might trip over.
Well, how long? I'm just surprised it hasn't happened yet. How long before our opponents, and I think the Sydney guy did it anyway, start just throwing themselves fucking
exactly
over?
That. It's ridiculous.
This is the thing I've always said, and I've said it repeatedly here, is I'm fucking sick of the AFL doing this where, like, it happens with insufficient intent and the rush behind and, a myriad of decisions where it's like, you have no viable alternative other than to surrender the ball to the opposition.
That's it. You're actually asking him to concede it.
Yeah, and that's fucking ridiculous, and it should never be like that. It's like insufficient intent. I mean, there was a ridiculous one against them too, the insufficient intent. There was one against for Bulldogs or against Bulldogs too, which I know is a crock of shit. It's like if a player just kicks it, just like they're in the pack and they just snap it out and it goes 25 metres and it takes a fucking, it bounces wrongly and then goes over and it's like, well, that's insufficient intent. Really?
Well, that was the Maynard one, wasn't it? That he's kicked it. He sort of argued, well, it fucking bounced and just. Yeah. It's one of those things where it bounced 16 kilometres up in the air and gone over. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
But see, I've said this before, the rebranding of the rules. So it's not that Maynard deliberately sent it out. It's that he didn't try hard enough to keep it in. So what they're implying, or what they're saying is he needed to kick it more inboard to keep it away from the fucking boundary, which means he would have been surrounding the ball the opposition. So again, taking the fucking device, taking away the viable alternative for him.
But the way the ball bounces in this game, it can go fucking sideways.
Anyway, yeah. Saying that.
That's you've got no control over. So you're saying it's sufficient intent if you blindly kick the ball and it just bounces to the right and back into play. Yeah. And it's insufficient intent if it hits the ground a different way and goes out on a right angle.
But then what they're saying is drive it more inbound. And that's fucking ridiculous. I've said it about the rush behind. It's like, there is a penalty for it. It's a fucking behind. You're saying the player can't take a reprieve by stepping over the line. They've got to stay in, get tackled, or handle to someone under pressure and lose it. So this is the alternatives you're creating. And that's the same with the sliding. It's like, Mychick made the play. He was the only person making the play. He was in front. He fucking chased the ball down. He dived. He punched it forward. And he had a Sydney guy who wouldn't have even been in his peripheral vision, who's run and come in late and dived over him.
And that is the moronic part of that too, because he would have had eyes only on the football. At no point is he going for it. He's going, I'm just going to pause time for a minute and have a look at who's around me. Am I in danger of tripping anyone? No, okay, resume. I'm going for the ball. He's just dove to win that football.
Yep.
And you just don't know who's around.
Well, you've seen that so many times where a player in exactly that same situation, I've seen other players do it. I've seen players grab the ball, handball it out to a teammate, but they've taken out someone's legs and it's a free kick against them. You're penalising the playmaker's natural instinct to win the ball and create play. And it's a fucking ridiculous thing because why? One time in the history, 150 years of football, someone slid in and broke someone's leg. One fucking time. And that's why we've got to change the rules. And you know what? And that one too, because it was Goods, wasn't it, when you slid in? But he slid in knees first. So you could easily just say, well, there's no sliding in knees first. Fucking Mychick and any player in a similar situation, they're risking greater peril to themselves because they're diving head first. So if anyone's going to get it, then it's going to be them. And as Gary pointed out too, I mean, Jackson Archer, he got suspended for fucking, his legs were taken out, but he knocked the opponent out. So fucking, he got suspended. This is the absurdity of the way the AFL governs the game. And the decisions are just really appalling. Like, watching any game. What was the other game before ours on Thursday? Who played? Geelong Adelaide.
Yes.
Fuck, there was some terrible decisions in that too. Brendan Hoskin was there too. But anyway, you watch these games and they're just so poorly adjudicated. And I don't blame the umpires. It's coming from above the way these games need to be adjudicated. But it's fucking appalling. Maybe they need to give Laura Kane's assistant an assistant to work this out.
That sounds feasible.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Lucky Schultz.
Well, he's going to be out of unemployed soon, so if you're on something there, he could fuck something else.
Accuracy.
That's probably not a great statement.
No.
Fuck something else up there.
No, too late to fix that. Accuracy.
Well, you can edit that out, can't you?
I don't edit. Accuracy. So, second quarter, they kicked 4-1 and we kicked 6-4. Could have buried the game again. Ultimately, it's a 31-point win, and it felt like it should have been about a 48-point win at the very least.
Oh, it's some of it is our inaccuracy, but it's fucking gobsmacking how sides turn up against us and just don't fucking miss. How many times it happens? And some of the arsey ones that Sydney were pulling out of their ass, of all places.
Yeah.
It just didn't want to go anywhere else except go through. It was just amazing to watch. It's frustrating because you do all that work and you get a goal out of it. It's your reward for effort. They just seem to go up the other end and go, I'm not even looking, and you just throw the ball in the boot and it just happened to go through.
The one thing I'll say is in that first half, a few times they just cut us open on the counter, so they were just going straight down the guts, which is going to result in their accuracy. Were you worried, we sort of pulled away in the second quarter, and then we let them get back within 10 points, then we kicked the goal? Were you worried it was going to be a game like last year where you pulled the pin, you fucking rang me up, you go, Sly, I'm out, particularly if Lockie Schultz is there? Were you worried that, we're just going to give up these leads we kept building, and it was always going to be a stressful, they're going to come at us one stage?
Well, I think I did message you at one point saying it's not like the last quarter of the last time we met was ever going to be on anyone's mind. It certainly was on mine. I thought that, I think that last goal we kicked just before the end of the second quarter, that sort of settled things. I think we ended up about three goals up at that stage. They were coming at us with a hell of a lot of momentum, and they just looked unstoppable at that time. And you sort of think, well, the thing is, even if we didn't score, they would have taken that momentum into the rooms and they all would have fucking got round and spoke about, we've got them, blah, blah, blah.
We did it last year.
Yeah, I think that settler pretty much stopped that.
Yeah.
I think they would have gone in and taken a lot out of that performance there. But I think you go with that mindset about, oh, fuck. We had them there, but they've just gone out a little bit. I think it just sort of knocks that mental... approach to how you sit there and discuss what happened at half time. No, I was relieved at that point.
Well, third quarter we kicked 3-4.
Otherwise, I would have been panicking.
Yeah, we kicked 3-4, so that's 7 shots to 2-2. So 7-4. You turn around like the accuracy instead of making it 3-4, make it 4-3. I know it's just one goal, but it does sort of start to inflate the lead. I'm a little bit concerned that against Sydney and against Carlton, both times, they've just sort of gone back to tempo football to control the pace of it, and it's like, that's never worked against you, has it? Maybe you should just fucking crush these pricks while you got them down. That's one thing that annoys me, and again, you kept railing on about percentage. You just fucking maybe kick a bigger score, win by a bigger margin.
I mean, that's all nice to have, I suppose. You really can't fault too much the overall outcome of this game, but look, to a point, I agree.
To the total point,
I think we've talked about this a little bit before, but I reckon there's a little bit of there's momentum that comes into play that when suddenly it all just clicks, and a lot of the time it's because the opposition have taken their foot off the pedal just even 5-10%. But I think some of that is you expend so much energy in those bursts yourself that you're left a little bit wanting. And that's where you should probably be a lot more defensive in your mindset at that point. But there was times we just didn't look like we were running to contests. We're happy just to sit back and hold off. And I think, is that fatigue, or is it a planned thing to sort of think, well, it is a marathon, the game, there's still a half to play. Are you conserving? Do you pull back a little bit, conserve? Maybe you concede a goal or two, but that you're fatigue-wise, you're going to be better for it afterwards.
Well, I told you an interesting thing last year. Pendlebury was talking about, generally the way football's played is you establish a lead, then you control tempo and just maintain the lead. But he goes, you watch teams coming back now. So he said the new strategy is probably going to be, once you develop that lead, you extend the lead rather than settle. I think one thing that's probably helped them a little bit this year in holding on to these leads and controlling the tempo is because their midfield, compared to last year, where last year was really Nick Dacos and that's it. This year you've got Sidebottom playing really well, Pendlebury playing really well, obviously Long's doing well. So even when they've got rotations, they've actually got a pretty strong midfield in there to try and control the tempo. You know, and then you get like some of the guys on the outside, like Lipinski, I thought was pretty good too. I should mention him.
Are you apologising this week?
Yeah. Josh was quieter. Quainer, I thought, was pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember any of the other players. I should probably look at the stats, which I did actually download. But
Proudfoot, I think Proudfoot was good.
Proudfoot was good. Joel Corey, really good.
Yep. Enright was good.
Enright, he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that guy was good too. Maynard was really good. Yeah, well, that's about enough of that.
Actually, the one that did surprise me is I thought Nick... Are we talking about Nick? You got Nick written down, or can I talk about him now?
Yeah, got Nick down.
I thought some of the checking on him with the tagging was look. You don't want to say it's pitiful, but it was fucking pitiful. Just pitiful. The holding to stop him. He was being ragdolled any time he touched the ball. They really fucking hammered him, and I thought, it's impacting his game a fair bit, but it is elevating the likes of Longy, and everyone else is lifting around him, so it's not too bad. I went and looked at his numbers at the end of the game. And I couldn't believe he'd actually touched it, and the contested possessions was something like 15 contested possessions out of 25 or something like that. I think, fuck, he actually did work well, but on the TV, it just didn't look like he was involved in he wasn't a playmaker or anything like that. He wasn't getting free or doing any of those runs. I mean, it really got to the point, I think, where there was an element of frustration in the close checking he was getting, and he had a tendency to just want to try and move the ball on as soon as he got it. He wasn't there to do anything fancy because he knew he was going to get belted around from pillar to post.
I think some of that's when he's on the inside, he's got no choice but to rush it. But in terms of the way he's being treated, and this is just not specific to him, this is like, you know, Patrick Cripps cops it, Lachie Neale would cop it. Like all the gun midfielders, the AFL just effectively sanction, you can do whatever the fuck you want to them. And
I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
And it's piss weak. It really is piss weak. And I mean, I go back to all, you know, I remember when fucking Cameron Ling, that prick, when he punched Nathan Buckley and drew blood.
He was trying to steal that for cloning purposes. You know that.
But it's
they've got a lab in Geelong for making strange things.
Cameron Ling.
It's called a hospital.
Yeah. But the AFL should really... Like, the AFL's all about sanitising the game. That's fine, you know. Protect the players, protect their head and all that shit. You should actually step in here and fucking... Anything that's, you know, prohibitive. Anything that's against the spirit of the game. Anything that's against the rules. Because, I mean, they're holding him... There's a few times Nick's attacking contests with one hand. It's like, well, I wonder why that he's not using that other hand. And this, again, applies to a lot of the gun players. So the AFL should actually make this their next agenda, is like protect the gun players, because that's what we come to watch these guys.
We don't watch someone who's a tagger.
Well, I spoke to this is a while ago, but like I was speaking to a Carlton friend, and he was talking about, you know, he just couldn't watch Carlton live anymore because he just couldn't handle the way
I don't think he's alone in that sentiment, though, mate.
That was before this year, but just talking about the way Patrick Cripps was always manhandled and, you know, the way he was illegally just blocked and scragged and all that sort of shit. And the AFL's pissy because they know this has been going on for fucking ages. And all you have to do is instruct the umpires, pay a couple of free kicks early, it'll just stop it immediately. But the AFL won't, because they're a shit organisation, as I keep fucking saying.
Having said all that, though, do you think we should have tagged Heaney?
Yeah, that would have been good, but I don't know. When why tag a playmaker? As long as they fucking tag Merritt in a couple of weeks, that would be good.
I think that was one of my great frustrations in that game. It's just the amount of times that you saw Nick near the ball and get scragged, and then Heaney was just on his fucking own so many times.
Yeah.
And he was driving that ball inside 50, you know, without any... And the amount of times that when it went inside 50, we just hadn't set up anything on those counters. That they had a player standing on their own.
Yeah.
But we sort of got around, we did get better as the game progressed around that.
Yeah, I think also the thing with Heaney is they just seem to be rotating various mids through him, so like there was no special attention given them. It was just like, we'll play a game, you play your game, which, you know, that's never worked against us, has it? Did you enjoy Dan McStay's kick into the middle again?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, you can have brain farts, and that was an epic brain fart, that one.
Did you notice he never went anywhere near the inside after that kick?
Oh,
they actually spoke to him.
Oh, they must have. I mean, because you in that passage, he should have just delivered it into the top of the square. It was out of his range.
Yeah.
Just get the ball down there and bring it. You know, if it's not marked, it's going to go to the ground in a contest. But that turnover cost a goal, and that was just fucking frustrating.
Yep.
You know, look, I got what his intent is, but those are really flat, fast kicks. You've got to get it there quickly, and it has to be marked clearly on the chest or something. The fact that it was just so easily intercepted was just like, what the fuck
that's
were you
the thing.
thinking?
If that's your option, then you need to nail it so that you have no margin for error. And that's in football. Whenever you take a risk, then you need to nail it. It was really, really frustrating. It's frustrating that after the Bulldogs game where he did exactly the same thing, he's done exactly the same thing. So
I think it's at training this week. They're going to have Tonya Harding just standing there with a pipe, just doing this for him, just tapping.
You've made that gesture before, but with a pump. Mark Ferguson says Hill would be an excellent trade bait. He's flatlined since the grand final, and the club could still get a high price for him.
Who's Mark Ferguson?
He's one of our followers on
Facebook.
Facebook.
I thought he was in the media, because there's that many of them now. There's 58 shows. I thought they just...
That's new.
Just before we go into this, there was something that was on after the game on KO, and there was 3 people sitting around and you're going, who the fuck are you? And they're talking about football.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. I can't watch the KO one because it's a few seconds behind. And then, you're getting texts.
Delay-o.
Yeah. But, fuck, Daisy Pearce is terrible. And James Brayshaw, how are you still working?
No, actually, I'd suffer the 10-second delay watching. I'd rather watch the commentary team that Fox have put together. Because you know what? They talk about the game.
And then Chad Wingard showed up like he stepped off an episode of Miami Vice from the 80s.
What the fuck were the two of them wearing in that?
I don't know.
With Abby...
Yeah.
Abby
Holmes on the...
Yeah, no, the two of them just look ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, it's yeah, I don't know. I really like Daisy Thomas. I think he's great.
Well, he's going to be stylish dresses like these two.
Yeah. So, Mark Ferguson, Hill would be an excellent trade bait. He's flatlined since the grand final. Club could still get a high price for him. Do you agree?
Not after this week.
All right. Mark A. Seymour.
Something's giving me the shits today.
Yeah, Mark A. Seymour on Facebook about our Collingwood Carlton thing where we had the technical errors, thanks to you. Been waiting for this on, boys. Don't forget, it's on Spotify as well. We know it's on Spotify. We put it there. Why are you telling us it's on Spotify?
But thanks.
Yeah.
I might listen to it on Spotify after this.
Don't forget, it's on Spotify as well.
What's Spotify?
For those who prefer not to look at you ugly buggers, no offence intended, but certainly insinuated. So he's calling you ugly.
It says Sly and Spook and Sly's mum.
No,
Mums.
No, so Mark A. Seymour, mate, you've done nothing since Hunters and Collectors. I don't think you should be laying criticism at us.
That's a fair point.
And he is ugly, though. Sorry. Dennis P.
It's an acquired beauty.
Good show, guys, as always. What do you guys think about going for Butters to help out Nick?
Not Butters that used to run St Kilda.
No, the one from South Park.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking they're talking about the Port Adelaide one.
Zach Butters, going after him.
Yep.
You'd take him in a heartbeat, but it's like anyone that's a gun mid that would complement Nick. You'd have him in a second, but it's the cost that we end up having to pay for him. Is he a free agent?
No, he's still way too early.
He's still too young,
yeah.
Isn't he? Yeah.
Nah.
So what are we giving up? Well, Bobby Hill for one.
Joe Richards?
Joe Richards? No, we can't give him up twice.
We can trade for him back.
We can trade for him back and then give him back.
Give Port Adelaide a first rounder for him, and then trade him for Butters.
They'd be dumb enough. give him a Collingwood jumper. They seem to like those.
Yeah, give him Turts. See you, Turts. You're off to Port.
The Port Adelaide turtle.
Yeah.
All ports, like turtles, like water.
Well,
it's like poetry.
It's like poetry. It's coming together. Costa Vazelos, great content, buddy. Thanks for another great show.
Another great shit.
The pipe. Black and White United didn't leave us a comment this week. I know I'm shattered.
Who?
The guy who started the show because we inspired him.
Oh. That's right. He's probably in therapy now. I think he realised what he wrote.
Have you watched his show?
You wouldn't follow this, would you?
No, you follow him. He's got the better content.
It is.
Better produced.
What's it called? Black and White Show.
Black and White United.
Black and White United.
Yeah. He doesn't film in slow motion either, like someone. We had a 6-hour show last week.
And 4 of that was on the couch.
Yep.
What the fuck?
On what you said about the melee after siren and what's not, this is from Hot Dog 75. Maybe they should add a penalty where if something happens after siren's gone, the victims team start the next quarter with a free kick at the centre circle, or if 2 infractions happen, then a free kick and 50-metre penalty.
Has that happened before? I've got a memory of that happening before once.
What?
There was an infringement and they started...
No,
didn't they? Actually, I think they had a kick.
No, it wouldn't have been like that.
Something, I think, anyway.
I totally agree. I actually think that would be good. Just, again, you want to stop these things from fucking occurring. Well, there's got to be a penalty. So if there's no penalty, and the monetary one's bullshit, because it's like, the club's fined $20,000 for a melee. Wow, that must really hurt. Guys making $500,000-$600,000 a year. That fucking, So I totally agree.
They don't pay themselves.
No, but I would have thought if there's any sort of financial impingement on the player themselves, it's not going to be that big anyway. So who gives a fuck? But I would definitely go with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ashen Prism. Collingwood is 17th for goal conversions this year. I like to see some other players other than Sidey and Pendle step up and influence as a win. As much as I love them, I think our best is good enough to be at the pointy end, but it all depends on how consistent we are.
I agree with that.
But we're probably more consistent if Schultz is out, though.
Well, Tonya Harding, she might have 2 jobs to do.
Tonya
Harding.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I mean I'm getting a little bit more
Pointy?
believing that we probably are deserved, not necessarily direct premiership favourites, but we should be up there. It's early fucking days, long way to go here. And all this is going to be predicated on, look, we're playing great football at the moment. We need these blokes not to get injured. It's going to be as simple as that. I think if you cop 1 or 2 key ones, then the derailment... And we're assuming Schultz can go and break a leg. We don't really care about him anymore. He's proven he's just getting in the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But everything has to go right. I think everything always has to go right.
But everything has to do that. I mean, it's an interesting one too, because you'd think at some stage they have to spell some of these older guys. So balancing that out with, remaining up there in the top 4. I think we've said it before, McRae comes from that Brisbane area, which just get to the top 4 and then, the rest can take care of itself. Yeah.
And then try and qualify top 4. I mean, you look at the moment, like the competition's still fairly even. I think GWS are probably the ones who deserve to be favourites based on where they sit today.
Hawthorn.
I'm not sure about Hawthorn. We'll see how they go. I mean, they'll beat Port tonight. Port is shit.
But, now they've lost Will Day for 4 months, that's pretty much the whole season. That's a big loss. But watching Hawthorn and what I've seen of Hawthorn, they're just consistently, good. Whereas with us, I think there's a lot of ebbs and flows in the way we've been playing under McRae forever. So, but yeah, unless someone like a Gold Coast has been pretty good too, so can they do it in Melbourne? Probably not.
Well, they've rigged the draw for Gold Coast, so they're looking good because it's a manufactured result. Have they actually played anyone who's won a game in the last 6 years? Gold Coast so far?
I played Adelaide.
Yeah. Did they win?
Yeah, they won by 1 point.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, good on them. Maybe they are flag favourites.
Johnny Ayres, hang tough. The end result will be historic. Do you know something we don't?
I think he's talking about the end of this episode. What's going to happen? Something going to fall on my head?
I won't use the joke I was going to use. Digsby 7134. Old mate Hyphen will get a game next week, and they reckon pretty good in VFL.
Well, he was right. Was he Nostradamus? Could Hyphen give us the Tats Lotto numbers so we don't have to do this anymore?
It's Digsby.
Do you know what? If we were millionaires, we'd pay someone to do this, and they'd probably do it better. Maybe
that wouldn't be hard.
We could get Black and White United in. He's already got the superior product, though.
Actually, just going back to Hoskin Elliott, he's probably the ideal sub who can just come on and play at any end, and if he comes on as a forward, impact the contest. I don't like Long as sub, not because it's Ned Long and I've been championing him for fucking 9 years.
Well, Fly said it's never happening again.
Yeah.
Not on his watch, he reckons.
But you want the sub really to be an impact player. Unless there's an early injury, obviously, then it's better if you have someone who can come on and replace someone specifically, but that's as long as you're replacing them.
Long.
Yeah. Well, that's as long as the guy you're replacing is the same sort of position. But in terms of Hoskinella, because he is multifaceted, he'd be the ideal sub. He could probably play that role for about, I reckon, 11 or 12 years.
And the good thing is, he can be subbed on and people won't even know for 10 minutes.
So we're playing Brisbane on Easter Thursday.
The traditional time slot for this time of year. We play him every Easter Thursday.
Actually, let me just step back for a second. What do you think of Gav Around?
It seems to be popular as a concept. Everyone over there is enjoying it. I'd like to go to one day. But yeah, unfortunately I work for a living. And can't get... What are you doing? I was about to say something prophetic.
You can still say it.
Okay, but you fucking make a noise.
You mispronounced...
It's like you're working in a chip shop.
You mispronounced pathetic.
Pathetic.
Yeah, I think Gav Around's a crock of shit. So...
okay, well that's it's a differing opinion to mine, so I'll go on my own then.
Go.
You go.
You go.
You go.
Fucking, yeah. It's like you go watch Disney Star Wars over and over alone.
It's the only way.
I understand the promotional aspect of it, but it's like, 47,000 Collingwood Sydney. Well, if played at the MCG, probably would have been 77,000, so fuck.
Yeah, well, they had 46,000 Essendon and Melbourne. And, geez, that was a great example of how to play football. I think everyone left that game well and truly sautéed.
Yeah, that was a great game. Fuck. Can you believe how far Melbourne have fallen? Well, you can, because you know someone inside the club who said it was just a crock of shit, that club.
That was a long time ago.
It was all negative and
he was like
terrible.
He was like a life coach or something, and he worked with a club. And this is probably nearly 20 years ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Hey?
It was 2 weeks ago you said this happened.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, what were we talking about?
You said you were at the fucking Carlton game for your best Carlton mate, and then you were talking about this Melbourne guy you also know, and you're also talking about fucking how much you enjoyed the new Godfather movie that came out with Al Pacino and Marlon Brando.
Yeah, okay. I remember that. I don't know when he works for Melbourne.
Yes, you did. You said, fuck, I'm not going to go into this story. But you said they were very negative and...
But they haven't changed that. I don't think they've always been that way. I mean, they got that pretend COVID Cup. That doesn't even count. They're going to take that off the Premiership thing, aren't they?
They should take both the ones in that COVID period off.
Yeah. Who won the other one? Geelong?
Richmond,
was it?
Fuck, Richmond. That was 19, 17 and 20, so... And then Melbourne won 21.
Didn't we have COVID in Victoria for about 6 years?
Still do, don't we?
Yeah.
We're playing Brisbane, so going back to that over there. The last, since the grand final, played them 3 times, including the grand final. We've beaten them all 3 times. They're sort of our bunnies, but they're looking pretty good. The Hipwoods actually stepped up.
I think they're just cruising at the moment. Yeah. And I was talking to someone about it today, is that I think...
They've been better since Lucky Schultz left.
They've been up for a couple of years. They've lost a grand final. They've won a grand final. Sometimes that's enough. And they're sort of playing like there's just no...
Tomorrow?
They're playing on autopilot and winning, but they're not really being challenged. And they're like, I think they came back this week, didn't they?
They got 39 points now.
Yeah. Oh, they woke up then. But who was it against?
Bulldogs.
Oh, there you go. I mean, the Dogs have got a fucking... They're wreaking out a bit of a pattern this year of looking like they're going to dominate a win and then lose by a couple of kicks.
That's what they've been doing for about 7 years.
Yeah.
9 years.
So I wouldn't read too much into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because pre-season I said that I thought like they'd lose a little bit of the hunger, but I actually think some of them... Because they got a few guys who... have come in and just given them... I don't know, long-term maybe they're just going to be travelling. But they could also be at that point after a couple of grand finals. I think we don't have to fucking really excel until we need to excel. I don't know.
Well, they had time they run last year, but I think we'll... I've heard that... I saw on X that... what's his name?
John Longray.
No, what is the new one coming from GWS?
Lucky Schultz.
No, the other one.
From what?
From Halfpenny. What's his name?
Halfpenny?
Yeah, the one who came over from GWS.
To us?
Yeah.
Perryman,
Halfpenny.
Fucking hell.
He injured his ankle apparently in the last quarter, is in doubt this week.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's a shame to hear.
So that's maybe he'll improve the side like Lachie Schultz did.
Could.
We can win the flag this week.
I didn't ask you last week. What do you think of Oscar Allen meeting Sam Mitchell?
I don't give a fuck about that. Who gives a fuck about that? That happens 9,000 times a year.
Yeah,
It's the way business is done, isn't it?
I think it's a funny one because it's like it's only an issue because someone noticed it. That's all it is. It's only an issue because it made the press.
Well, it's only a crime if you get caught.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the rest of the development?
No. I have seen some of it.
Oh, it's brilliant. And there was a lawyer played by Scott Baio, Bob Loblaw, but he did his commercial. Why should you go to jail for a crime someone else noticed? All right, last thoughts?
We'll beat the Lions by 3 goals.
Okay, we'll beat them by 27 points, and Schultz will dominate. Or he'll inspire the others to dominate.
He's got an owie. He's not coming back.
New tradition, I'm giving you a piece of paper to throw also.
What does this mean?
Just throw up.
And if anyone wants to come and see us live, we'll be conducting goal kicking training at Collingwood this week.
Alright, that's it from us. Follow, subscribe, leave comments, like, share, talk us up to other people.
Or just talk.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
And this show will get a lot better when we've both been traded out of it.
And when Lachie Schultz isn't playing on the show, we'll be a lot better. We promise. Don't turn off. We'll try harder next week.
Yeah. Later.
Bye.